Stay healthy while traveling. Frequently wash hands with soap and clean running water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid close contact with persons suffering from any cold or flu-like symptoms. Avoid travel if you have any cold or flu-like symptoms. Avoid travel unless absolutely necessary to any location that currently has local spread of the COVID-19. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
An hour between eating and sleeping may lower stroke risk. A 1,000-patient study presented at this year's European Society of Cardiology Congress found that waiting 60 to 70 minutes before going to bed after eating reduced the risk of stroke by 66%. And for every 20 minutes more that you wait, stroke risk drops another 10%. That's a fact. But there's hope. Here's a health tip that takes little effort. Wait at least an hour to go to sleep after eating. Not only will you cut your risk of stroke, but previous research has shown that you'll also decrease your risk of acid reflux disease and sleep apnea. So have an earlier dinner and a better night's sleep.
My name is Amini Anderson and I'm the General Manager for our Yadpa bookstore here in Belize City. At our bookstore, we cater at offering books that can help you live a healthier lifestyle. We offer books that can help your marriage and your family life to be even more sweeter. We haven't forgotten the kids, we have books for them, and we also have books that will help you grow in your spiritual life. We're located inside the headquarters of the Belize Union of Seventh-day Adventists that is located on 3A Street, Kings Park. Our phone numbers are 223-3048, or you can get us on our cell number at 660-2378. Our working hours are from 8 to 12:15 from Monday to Thursday, 1 to 4:15, and on Friday we're open from 8 to 12. You can also find us on Facebook. Our name for our page is Yadpa Belize. ATN has partnered with us, and for every purchase made using the code ATN21, a proceed will be going to them to help them further in their ministry as well. So feel free, come visit us. I'm sure you're going to find something that will be a blessing to you all. Thank you.
These are indeed troubling and uncertain times. The COVID-19 pandemic rages while the death toll surges. Many lives have been lost to violence in the streets. Homes have been terrorized with domestic abuse. Natural disasters in the form of storms and fires have devastated our land, a constant reminder of the times in which we live. Jesus is soon to come. Here in the Belize Central Mission, our mandate remains the message to all the world. In the midst of all these tragedies, we have not relented from our mission of preaching, evangelism, and ministering to our youth and community. The Central Belize Mission has been blessed to reach great milestones to this end, including the launch of our very own Adventist television network, which now serves as one of the mediums in carrying the gospel to all the world. ATN has allowed us to continue this work by streaming various spirit-filled programs via its Facebook and YouTube account, as well as on cable TV. This has allowed many individuals to have come into a saving relationship with Jesus Christ through the virtual evangelistic campaigns and revivals. As we contemplate these breakthroughs, we want to encourage everyone, whether you are a regular member, visiting online viewer, or a community member, to double up with God in your Christian stewardship. God has been faithful to us, and His mercies are renewed each day. We may have fallen short in our faithfulness in the giving of our time, talent, or finances, but now is an opportune time for us to double up with God. Let's double up with Him by returning what is right in tithes and in our love gift offerings. Contact your local church pastor or church treasurer to find out how you can give. If you have been blessed by the ministry at ATN and would like to partner with us, you can join the ATN family by giving your charitable gifts. Giving to ATN can be done in multiple ways. On your tithes envelope, there is a designated line for ATN. You can place your donations along with your tithes and offering. Sign up to become a monthly or a one-time sponsor using the ATN donor pledge form that is provided in a pinned post on our Facebook page. After you sign up, we will contact you to make arrangements of how you can make your donations. You can mail your checks to House B, Upper Flat, 374 Mayflower Crescent, Lake Garden, Ladyville Village, Police District, or drop by our studio on weekdays, Mondays to Thursdays, between 9 to 5 p.m. at our ATN office or Central Belize Mission office. You can also make direct transfers marked for ATN via online banking or in-person deposits to the following bank account number. For our international donors, you can make your donations via the PayPal app or by sending donation to BZ Adventist TV by means of the following link, using your PayPal account or your credit and debit card. Thank you for your generosity, and we pray God's richest, most abundant, and continuous blessings on you and on the Belize Adventist Television Network as we seek to engage in meaningful, relevant, and life-changing ministry.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Defining Your Health. I am your host this morning, Mrs. Chantel Neal, sitting in for Miss Dinah Moralez, and with me on set today is my very able co-host, Mr. Cameron Ozieta.
Hello there.
Yes. John chapter 10 verse 10 reminds us, I am come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And what better way to have an abundant life than to start your home garden? We have no stranger, Miss Isabel, who's with us today. Senator Isabel, that is.
Yes.
And she comes to us today as a gardener. This lady is a Jill of all trades. She has been with us multiple times on several programs. But today on our set, she is here as a master gardener. I want to give her that title.
Okay,
Oh, Miss Isabel, we are always elated when you are in our studio. Because we know when you come bringing wisdom. You come
God
teaching us something. And today you'll be teaching us about soil, and flowers, and plants, and many more things. So we want you to stay tuned. Wherever you are watching from, on Channel 98, on Facebook, and on YouTube, we want to thank you, and we want to tell you to keep it locked because we have a wonderful program prepared for you today. Sister Isabel, good morning.
Good morning, Sister Shanta.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Come on,
pleasure
sit again.
to be here, as always.
Gardening.
Yes.
When we think about gardening, we think about, Mr. Cameron, we think about the hot sun. We think about dirt, we think about worms, and all the negatives. But I want Miss Isabel to tell me this morning, or to tell us this morning, what inspired you to start a home garden?
Actually, you listed some very key basic elements that is needed for a successful garden. What motivated me was the fact that I was very much in tune with what was happening worldwide with COVID. I mean, I could have seen that at the international level, there were many countries activating into a lockdown mode. Belize was not yet in tune with what was happening at that time. And serving as a senator, it was my emphasis in the House of Representatives to alert the then ruling party that, you know, we need to be abreast, we need to keep our tentacles on lock to identify some of the issues that would come out as a result of a pending pandemic. And so being a very avid reader and, you know, always trying to be in tune with international trends, I knew that just like the ants, we should be ready. And so that was what actually quickly motivated me and activated myself, not just myself, but my family on a whole, to establish the garden. And help came from all angles, really. Neighbors, strangers, extended family members just gave their own tips and ideas of how to do the garden.
Wonderful.
It happened much in advance of the lockdown because, like I said, I was thinking ahead, I was planning ahead. And so when the lockdown came, it was easy for us just to be in our yards, not just locked down in the house, but being in the yard, actively preparing and actually starting to harvest at some point during the lockdown, right? So I don't call it my COVID garden, but it was as a result of, we just named it Seeds of Blessings. And it actually afforded us, before the lockdown, to establish a business, a small family business per se. So we have an official name, we have an official registration at the company registry, and we also have a bank account. Because I needed, for as always, to have structure in what we were doing. And so we started planting, and we got seed happy because you put the seeds in the soil and then you have all the trays and everything, and then you start seeing these little miniature plants just growing and you get excited something is going to come out. But as we started to do, and we started to, you know, lay the bigger beds, and my brother Lion helping me to put in the structure and stuff, we realized we had planted too much. So yes, I mean, I was very new. I'm a nurse by profession. I'm an educator. But I know that, you know, if I do something with soil and seeds, something is going to come out. So despite that, we went ahead. There were many lessons learned from that first initial thing. But yeah, it was COVID that actually motivated the whole backdrop.
So while you started your garden, were there specific items that you wanted to make sure you had in those garden beds? I mean,
yes, man, the ones that you could eat quick.
Okay.
So it had to be cucumber.
So basic survival was key.
Yes, yes, very much so. The cucumbers, sweet pepper. It doesn't take very long for them to produce, and of course, you know, the spikes with the prices tend to vary seasonally on a seasonal basis as well. So I'm figuring cucumber, sweet pepper, we had pumpkin, we had okras. Okras, they were in galore. The cucumbers were in galore. And I'm telling you, I'm not an expert farmer. I mean, I just bought the back soil and we just laid the beds. We gave it enough love, water. We added all the excess that we had in terms of fruits and vegetable peels. We put it into the soil so that nurtured the soil.
So you did like a compost kind of.
It wasn't even a compost mixing happening there in my mind. I learned about compost bins after the fact. All right? And so it was all the excess that we had. We would just put in the beds. Those would rot. And as with everything, at this stage now, 1.5 years later, even my grandmother, who is 98, is 99 now, she's helping to separate the garbage. So we have a compost bins where everything is now collected and everything now goes into the garden patch, right?
Isabel, I can sense your passion.
Yes,
I can sense your excitement. And as you were speaking this morning, I'm excited as well because I'm a student of yours. I
Yes,
could
you
remember,
did.
as you were saying before, when the lockdown just started, everybody was frantically wondering what's going to happen,
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I could remember clearly that you were one of those persons who motivated our church to start to plant.
Yeah.
And you went on a planting fiasco, a planting
Rumpage.
campaign,
Yeah.
a planting spree.
I went in a planting pandemic.
And you got everybody from our church motivated about planting.
I tried.
You know, and
Yes.
so I am happy that you did, because even though we were going through a terrible situation, we found something positive out of it.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and that was a big help, because many of those who were first-time gardeners learned a lot, one, but it was also a way for us to calm the nerves,
Yes,
to take our
it's-
minds off of the crazy things that was happening in the world at the time, because the pandemic, a lot of us it's new to us.
Yeah.
So we see here that gardening has a powerful impact, you know,
Several.
on our body, not only the physical, because it provides food,
Yeah.
but also emotionally. You know, it
It
helps
does.
us, because as you are speaking, I could sense your passion,
energy, the
you know, your
vibes that
energy,
comes in.
and putting that into gardening brings forth wonderful things.
Yes, it does.
It brings forth wonderful things. What kind of patience did you need to have during this time?
Well, I was just going to say, it not only gave me some huge pumpkins,
Okay.
but as you go through and you lay a seed, and of course I would pray over everything that I do, and you see that seed and that plant gives you back, it gives a rewarding feeling. And it calms the nerve, because I mean, during the time of the pandemic, you knew that at some point you probably could have been exposed.
Yes.
And so if I'm exposed then, or the possibility that I would have been exposed and probably die as a result of COVID, I didn't have to worry about that. I had some plants to worry about, so I didn't have to take the chance to want to get out there.
So all I'm
Right,
gonna
so
do-
it provided diversional activity,
Yes.
if you could call that,
Yeah.
and then it lessens the anxiety.
Anxiety.
Definitely.
Right, so the produce that you get from the plant itself, even though it's nurturing, like you rightly said, the mental health aspect was quite balanced as it is. But your question was, how did I persevere?
Planting, gardening is patience. Like fishing, it's
Yes.
a lot of patience.
Um,
And that's one thing many people might say, oh, I don't have the time. I can't, might as well I go buy it from the grocery store. You know, but there's a lesson of patience Christ wants
Yes.
to teach us through
Yes,
gardening.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. It does take time, but it's a time that you enjoy. It's a process that you literally enjoy, because from the time I would have this little container and I would put a seed in there, I would know a time frame to which that seedling would sprout.
Okay.
And so there's a joy in me having to come and wet that seed, knowing that at a certain time there's an expectation.
Right.
And even if that seed doesn't, there is still that motivation, and you know what, I can try again. So even as I wait and I wait patiently, I know I've already prayed, and the Lord will do what He needs to do, because I can't do the magic. I can only put myself into that, make my hands available, put the proper soil, the seed, and I wait out until it's there.
Yeah.
And when that seed comes, even before, you start giving thanks, right? So it's not an impatient process for me. It wasn't, because I mean, I guess as a nurse, but I think the instinctive thing as a human being, even as you wait for a child to be born, there's a joy that you experience for that 9 months until that baby comes, and it's just overwhelmed. So when you see that little seed, that little plant out there bursting, I was like, oh my gosh, the tomato seed has come up, so you get even more excited.
Yeah, so you know it's
You
a
know?
fruit of your labor.
Yeah, yes, yes. So it's
Yeah.
I can't say it was an impatient process. It was an exciting time to wait to see what would happen in the end.
I guess God knew what He was doing when He put Adam and Eve in a garden too, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's profound. That's profound. Lots
I
of-
probably should have named my project Garden of Eden.
Great life lessons there, Miss
Yes,
Isabel. And
it sure
is a joy to sit and eat a cucumber from your very
Our own garden.
You have you know the effort you put in.
Yes.
You could taste
Yes.
the effort when you bite down into that and you hear that crunch. You say, this is my handiwork
Yes.
Yeah.
with the help of God, of
Or
course.
even when the birds pick it too.
Ah.
Because I remember my grandmother always saying, when you plant for the birds, you
Yes.
plant for your neighbor, you plant for yourself, and you plant for the thief.
that's a good one.
Mercy.
That's a
I
good
always
one.
remember that.
That's a good one. So sis, I know that nothing is easy. Nothing is easy in life that we do. What are
Takes
some
effort.
challenges you face while starting up your home garden? What are some challenges that you experience along the way?
I wasn't too sure about a lot of things, honestly, so I did a lot of research. And that was my reservation in some aspect of the project. But sooner or later, when I saw produce and I was like, hey, there's a
Yeah.
pumpkin there, and then there's a cucumber. I was saying to Brother Man earlier, for the first time I saw the formation of a cucumber. I didn't know cucumbers grew the way they did, with little spikes on it and all that. I didn't vision that. I would just normally just go to the market and buy what I needed. And so that was a whole experience by itself. Another challenge though, other than not knowing how certain things would grow, is the fact that I wasn't familiar with soil.
Okay.
But I do know that just like our bodies, we need to eat healthy things so that our bodies can stay healthy. The soil also needs to be healthy.
Yes,
So it was easy for me as a vegetarian to say, I know that when banana peel disintegrate, it goes right back to nurture soil. So that was easy for me to apply there. But I did a lot of research on YouTube, really. A lot of the information that exists there, though, are not necessarily for a tropical country. So I
Yeah.
had to utilize information that was coming more from out of Florida,
Okay.
where the temperature is similar to ours,
yes,
right?
yes.
And so those were very useful YouTube. But other than that, it was just
Trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error. And
Yeah.
the trial and error for me produced,
Yeah.
you know, some of the biggest
Wonderful.
abundance things. So from that experience, I would tell anybody, don't have reservation about starting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need me as a resource person, I'm there. You always have the Ministry of Agriculture. You just pick up the phone. I think they have a hotline.
Okay.
I'm not too sure, but if they don't, I'll encourage them to. You just call and ask what to do, how to prepare soil and stuff like that. Because I can see and I know of people that have like a Clorox bottle that has a sweet pepper tree in there.
Yeah, I see people putting buckets and planting tomatoes,
Yes,
seeds and all that.
and you reap.
Yeah.
So you don't have, and I guess this is one of the drawbacks with people. I don't have space.
Yeah.
And you literally do. Just get a Clorox bottle, just get a bucket, just get a small container. Anything that can hold soil
Yeah.
can help you to grow something that you, and I would say, my brother Lion once told me, he said, why are you planting so much flowers? Just plant stuff that you can eat.
Yes.
He had said this to me a long time ago, and every time I'm in the garden, I would just laugh because I would remember his comments. Because now I'm planting everything I could
Yeah. It was
possibly
golden
eat.
and
Yes.
bright. Golden
Yes,
and bright.
yes.
And it saves on the pocket to save.
Yes,
It saves on
very
the
much,
pocket. I
very
mean,
much.
we live in a tropical country and there's
Very
no
much.
way we should be buying every single thing from the market.
True. And I would say that the small farmers that we have, they should be producing at a level where we can export those
Exactly.
things.
Yeah, yeah, I kept hearing a phrase ringing in my mind about Belize being a food basket to the rest of the
Yes,
Caribbean.
Of
yes.
course.
We do have the soil setting.
Yeah.
We do have the number of farmers that we should.
Yeah.
And they could be even more diverse in what we grow as well,
Yeah,
right?
because-
But we can, as a country, because of the land mass that we have.
Exactly. You have
Yeah.
enough.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
If you could get, I mean, a dozen sweet pepper, out of one sweet pepper tree, I mean,
That's
and
that
how much
saves you a lot.
sweet pepper do you use per day per meal?
Yeah,
Right?
less than
So-
one. Yeah, maybe one. If you have enough.
Well, I could recall as we're wrapping up this segment, I could recall starting up my garden
Yeah.
and struggling. And calling the plant whisperer, we were going to call her now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calling in Miss Isabel for help because here I am new at this thing. I don't know anything. And yes, we learn a lot from you too, but there's nothing like having somebody that can come into your yard
Yeah.
to tell you exactly what you need to do. So my husband and I, we took on the challenge of planting, but we weren't aware that our soil was terrible and we needed to have raised beds
Yes,
instead of directly on the ground,
Yeah.
you know? And these are some of the challenges we will face, but like Miss Isabel says, don't let these things deter you.
Yeah, be determined.
Don't let these things stop you from starting your home, your garden.
Yeah.
I mean, you could plant flowers, yes, but try to plant things that you can eat.
Yeah.
You will not
Exactly.
only benefit your pot, but it will also
Benefit
save
your
pocket
pocket.
as well. So I want to motivate our viewers, and we pray that this program as well will motivate you to start your home-based garden. You know, you don't have to have a big space. You don't have to have a whole farmyard. Just start small.
It doesn't have to be an acre or more.
Container.
Exactly, exactly. And sometimes you don't even have to go out to buy seeds. The
true.
tomato you buy, you take the same seeds out, put it in soil,
Yeah.
and you go again.
Yeah, I just bought a soursop right here, the corner coming out of here. He had in about 90 seeds. And I
Wow.
save all of them, wash them, and I have at least 12 of them in the
Growing
pocket.
already.
Yeah.
Look here,
Wow.
man. Look here, man. Look, so how long will that take to produce, Ella?
Well, we'll see.
About 2 or 3
Well,
years.
they said 3 to 5 years.
3 to
5
5
years.
Well,
years.
I'll
Okay.
pray on that. We'll see what the Lord says.
You sound like you know something we don't know. You know the master of the wind. You know the master of the wind.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful thing to use your energy into this kind of initiative. You know, Christ have a lot of lessons he wants to teach us through gardening.
That's
You
for
know, we
sure.
shared a couple already, but I believe one of the main ones is how he wants to transform us, or the transformation we need to go through as Christians.
Yeah.
You know, just as the seed, you put it down in the soil, you water it, you water it, you water it. It's the same with our spirituality or spiritual growth.
And I think
You
that
want
the-
us to be dependent on Him.
Yes.
I think the agricultural scientist said the seed dies
Uh-huh.
before it produces a plant. right?
Amazing. So it's
Right.
almost like baptism, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we want to move on now. There's a initiative that I know you are a part of, a wonderful initiative. We want for you to share a little bit about what this initiative is about.
Okay. The Belize Parliamentarian Against Hunger and Malnutrition
Okay.
is an initiative that was signed on by our country last year, 2019, 2019. And it has been a movement for parliamentarians to get more actively involved in issues, not just global issues, but local issues, looking specifically at hunger and malnutrition. And so senators and ministers of government have been asked to actively participate in any initiative, any program that can help to promote the alleviation of hunger or the alleviation of malnutrition in the country. We know that there are certain countries in the world where the malnutrition rate is so high that a child that should be of a certain height and have a certain weight, their growth is stunted simply because they're not eating the amount of food that they should and the quality of food that they should. And what that does several things to the body, not just physically, but the academics, the intellectual, the
cognitive
learning,
ability, yeah.
yes, the cognitive ability. So the child who should be thinking abstract at a certain age may not be able to do that. They may not be able to speak properly. And so you find that there's a whole generation, not just physically challenged, but also mentally as well in that regard. Even simple decision making, if you don't eat the proper food, it impacts how you make decisions as well, right? I would just quickly say that if I'm in a situation where I am being irritated, I'm being angry because maybe you are saying something that is offensive to me, the reasonable person, the person that is well grounded, would make the initiative to walk away. But if I am not in the best nutrition, I may decide to retaliate, and then that's when a knife comes out or a gun comes out, and you lose the life because what, you mashed my foot, or because you bumped me, or because you passed me rough in the bus. All right. So even though we see these ills in our society, and we say it's because there was an absent father, or there are many factors. Malnutrition and hunger can be one of those things. They always say a hungry man is an angry man, right? So as parliamentarians, for one, we are pushing every initiative that helps to make a family make better health and healthier choices.
Okay.
And so me being a part of a living example, I would say, of, you know, having your own garden is one way in which I am promoting any initiative that I can say to a family, grow spinach. I picked these 2 spinach leaves earlier before coming here. And what I simply do is just pick them from the tree. I would put them with cheese in toast bread, wheat bread, and I would apply onions and ketchup, and I would make a healthy
There we go.
sandwich, yeah,
There we go,
with,
nice.
with carrots.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting carbohydrates from the wheat bread,
Yes.
which is for energy. I'm getting iron from the spinach, which is for my blood. I'm getting carrots that have vitamins
A.
for the eyes,
C,
yes. Onions, I'm not too sure what all that carries, but whatever I want to sprinkle there. And then the mother or the father might say, well, my kids don't eat onion, they don't eat spinach. Well, guess what? Take those same spinach leaves, blend them into ideals or lollipops,
Okay. All
put
right.
honey to them, and you will have your child eating iron, and you don't have to buy it as supplement
There
at
you
the,
go.
at the pharmacy.
They just
Yeah.
throw it in there. They don't
Yeah.
even know. Well, I must applaud the parliamentary system for taking up this challenge. You know, let me get the name correct. Belize Parliamentarians Against
Hunger
and
and
Malnutrition.
malnutrition, yeah.
I must applaud this group for taking on this initiative. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. We only have sometimes only a few people motivating others, but when we hear people of such high regards, you know, taking on this challenge, you know that it's important.
Something
So
serious,
I
yeah.
want to thank the parliamentarians for taking on the challenge, and I pray that that they themselves would also, you know, start.
Yeah, lead by example.
Lead by example,
Yeah.
you know, and that our viewers at home would take on the challenge.
Yeah.
I am happy that you brought your spinach. I was shocked to see the size of the leaves.
Yes.
And there's so much things you can do when you have your very own
Yeah.
backyard garden. You know, making a spinach sandwich. Never thought about that, Mr. Cameron.
There you go.
Never
There you
thought
go.
about that.
Yeah.
But
Lollipops,
Yeah.
ideals.
yep.
I don't know about ice cream though,
Oh, well.
but I'm sure it could work.
Could experiment with that.
Yeah.
So, friends at home, we want to thank you so much for staying with us. We have more to come. You've seen on our table, we have a huge pumpkin here, some seeds. Get your stuff together, because we're gonna be engaging in some planting. Miss Isabel will show us step-by-step process of how you too can start your own garden. Remember now, you don't need to have a big backyard, just a little space on your veranda, containers, soil, seeds,
And a willing heart.
a willing heart, and a prayer
Yeah.
will definitely have you going with your backyard
Yeah.
gardening in no time.
Yep.
Stay tuned, we have this and more.
All right.
A study published in the Journal of the American Dietetic Association found that toddlers aged 12 months and older consumed a third of their daily calories from snacking between meals, with the snacks becoming less nutritious as the children got older. Dietary patterns low in fruits and veggies and high in sweets and saturated fats began to develop between the ages of 12 months and 24 months, and this pattern tended to be established by 24 months. That's a fact. But there's hope. Parents can establish the foundation for a healthy diet early in life when eating habits and preferences are being formed. Simple dietary changes, such as offering more nutritious snacks, can help prevent obesity and chronic disease in our children. So switch the gummy bear for blueberries and see them growing healthier and happier.
Hi, my name is Amine Anderson, and I'm the General Manager for our Yadka bookstore here in Belize City. At our bookstore, we cater at offering books that can help you live a healthier lifestyle. We offer books that can help your marriage and your family life to be even more sweeter. We haven't forgotten the kids. We have books for them. And we also have books that will help you grow in your spiritual life. We're located inside the headquarters of the Belize Union of Seventh-day Adventists that is located on 3A Street, Kings Park. Our phone numbers are 223-3048, or you can get us on our cell number at 660-2378. Our working hours are from 8 to 12:15 from Monday to Thursday, 1 to 4:15, and on Friday we're open from 8 to 12. You can also find us on Facebook. Our name for our page is Yadpa Belize. ATN has partnered with us, and for every purchase made using the code ATN21, a proceed will be going to them to help them further in their ministry as well. So feel free, come visit us. I'm sure you're going to find something that will be a blessing to you all. Thank you.
Putting God first can be difficult. What can we learn from Daniel that will help us put God first in our lives today? Daniel was a young man when he was taken into captivity to Babylon, the capital of the greatest empire the world had ever seen. King Nebuchadnezzar always took the best and brightest young men as captives from the many nations he conquered. He would then teach them the Babylonian science and religion, knowing that they would significantly contribute to the expansion of his kingdom. 10,000 young people were taken along with Daniel, and from them, the best of the best were sent to the palace. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were some of these. Their first test was with food. In fact, since the time of Eden, God's people have been tested with food. Food has been a representation of either devotion to God or rejection of His word. But in their case, putting God first could have cost them all the privileges afforded them, or worse, they could lose their lives. However, these young men decided to put God first, no matter what happened. They couldn't be forced or bribed to do otherwise. Faithfulness with their diets not only gave them superior physical strength, but, most importantly, greater mental and spiritual discernment. So, it was not by chance that they became the top students in the Babylon University. Later, Daniel would be put in charge of all other scientists, while his three friends would eventually become the top leaders of Babylon's capital city. All this because they decided to put God first. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were willing to be burnt alive rather than compromise. They said, "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and He will deliver us. But even if He does not, we want you to know, Your Majesty, we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." As an older man, Daniel would rather be thrown into a den of lions than to stop praying first thing in the morning. But God came through again, and Daniel lived to praise Him and become the prime minister of Babylon. Daniel put God first. His example compels us to do the same. As the deacons collect the tithe and promise, we are challenged to put God first.
Abigail.
Yes, Gran?
Abigail, I can't breathe well.
Granny, we need to go to the hospital to get you checked out.
No! I'm fine.
Yes, Gran, we need to go now to get you treated. Now, before it's too late.
No.
Grandma, we need to go for all of us.
No.
Stop. If you are having flu-like symptoms, please call us immediately for medical guidance. If you have chronic conditions such as diabetes, and you're experiencing symptoms such as shortness of breath or chest pain, please also seek medical attention immediately. We lost a lot of people this year. We don't want to lose you too. Please seek help if necessary. Call us at 0800-664-2273. Continue to wear your mask at all times. keep physical distance when in public, and stay at home unless absolutely necessary. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
This is not a time for panic. It is a time for calm, for a steady trust in the Lord we love and serve, and also to focus on how we best can serve, how we can move forward together in this interesting and very challenging time. I've not seen a time like this. I'm reminded that we really have nothing to fear for the future except we forget how God has led us in the past and His teachings. So in this time, we have an opportunity to bear witness to the faith that is within us, reflecting hope, demonstrating stability through the assurance that God will never leave us nor forsake us. But having the knowledge that He will be with us, unmistakable clearness and power that is His may be revealed in our own lives day by day. And that way, we can not only make a difference, we can be the difference. May God bless you as by His grace and with His help, we together negotiate this challenging, difficult, and interesting time. But this too will pass by His grace.
Are you taking heart medicines? Medications can give us a false sense of security. Even if a person takes heart medicines, eating a lot of saturated or trans fats, fast and junk foods, red and processed meats, sweets, and processed foods will still increase inflammation and make cardiovascular disease worse. That's a fact. But there's hope. A study of more than 31,000 adults found that you can substantially reduce cardiovascular recurrence beyond drug therapy alone by eating a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, and fish, and low in meats. A heart-healthy diet reduced their risk of dying from cardiovascular disease by 35%, a new heart attack by 14%, heart failure by 28%, and stroke by 19%. So eat your veggies. A healthy heart starts with a healthy meal.
Welcome back to Defining Your Health. This morning we've been having a wonderful time here in studios with Senator Isabel Bennett, our gardener for today. And we want to thank you so much for staying with us. Wherever you're watching us from Facebook, YouTube, or Channel 98, thank you so, so much. We have come to the part of our program today, the most exciting part. As you can see, our table is all decked out. We will be planting today. So, Sister Isabel, as we are here this morning, could you tell us what do we have here?
Okay, we just have a basic setup whereby you're preparing to put some seeds, to set some seedlings. Sorry. So we have the soil. I'm going to do some mixture with the soil. I'm going to ask you to prepare this egg tray. It's simply one of those basic things that you use at home, all right? In the sense that even if you don't have setting tray, the egg tray comes perfect because it has a separation. And I don't throw out this part of the egg tray either. I actually just utilize that. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just to cut that down the middle.
Okay.
It has already been perforated. You won't be able to see it necessarily because it's a transparent container. But this is just basically emphasizing the fact that you can use what you have at home.
Yes.
Right?
Now, going back to the soil, I see you have some rich black soil here, Mr. Carmen. And I know you're a gardener too, so you know much about this this kind of thing, no? Where would you get your soil from? Because I know the soil is vital to planting. You know, if your soil is not good, you might not have a good end result. So tell us, where would you get your soil from?
I normally get it from the Western Highway. There are a lot of vendors out on the highway that have prepared bags or sacks. And I would like to say though that even though you may obtain those type of soil there, whatever you have at home, if you add just basic eggshells, I've had these eggshells for like 4 weeks or so just sitting. Even if you just add eggshell to your existing black soil that you have at home, or you start adding the sawdust, the powder part of it, what? Because, for example, the eggshell does add calcium to the soil.
Oh, interesting.
And remember, I said earlier, just like our bodies when we need to eat healthy, this soil is like your body that needs to be enriched. So even if I had healthy soil that I would have bought from a vendor and it gives me good product, that soil needs to be enriched over a period of time.
Would this be the soil I add my compost to?
Yes, you would add compost to this as well. All right.
Wonderful.
So I mean, anything that
all the stuff, fruits and veggies stuff you get from the market, and you have your refuse peels.
You just add it to
the soil.
Some people say you wait. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert gardener, but I do know that whatever you add takes some time to disintegrate, and then that is what the soil would the plants would use up through the roots, right? So, for example, broccoli is one of those plants that uses that is rich with calcium. So, if I am setting a tray to plant broccoli, I would definitely add a whole heap of eggshells.
Wow. So, Mr. Cameron, we're seeing here this morning that nothing goes to waste.
Everything is recyclable.
Nothing goes to waste. Everything that you have in your home that can be
biodegradable.
Can be broken down.
Don't throw it in the garbage can.
Make use of it and add it to your soil. So
there's
we have
our mangoes right now.
Yes.
The mango peels. Just add it to your soil.
Add it to the soil. Wonderful.
Excellent.
So we have our soil.
Yes.
We have our tray. We're going to get back to this tray in a little bit. But here to the front, we have our seeds.
Yes.
And you might be saying, where can I find seeds? Well, in the first part of our discussion, we shared that you can get seeds from the same plant you buy. The cucumber, you cut it out open, you take out the seeds, but you can also purchase seeds.
Yes, you can.
And with us, or some seeds that we have with us today is lettuce, cucumber, we have some cilantro, some kale, we also have thyme and some sweet peppers.
Yes. And we also have some sunflowers.
Yes, we do have some sunflowers and marigold. And we're going to talk about those two. Why are they important to have in your garden as well? But for those who might be looking for seeds, Mr. Cameron, and Miss Isabel, where do we find seeds?
Well, I normally pick them up at Prosser as well as
Reimer's, okay.
But most of my produce in my yard basically comes from what I buy at the store, because I'm trying to avoid those
genetically modified seeds.
Yes. So that's wonderful. So one, you can reuse the seeds from what you buy, or you can purchase packs of seeds from your local stores. All right. As well, Mr. Carmen, what else do we have?
Well,
what else do we have for this morning? We have our bags.
We have our planter bags.
We have our planter bags. And if you don't have planter bags,
money to buy fancy bags, you could use a simple plastic bag that you use from your grocery shopping. And we roll it down, perforate it with holes, and we can use it just as good as a planter bag. Right?
You poke the same holes in it, and it does the
Same job.
same thing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get going, Miss Isabel. I'm excited.
So I take time in preparing the soil.
Okay.
This soil would have been sitting at my house for about 2 months. I've added the compost that was there from when, all the biodegradables that we had. So I just adding some eggshells to it.
Okay.
While the eggshells disintegrate, and after a while, the plant will be able to absorb the calcium. What the eggshell will do is afford for the soil not to get hard.
Okay.
So the roots are able to penetrate, and I think that's the same effect that the sawdust would have
Yes.
when we have it there,
And I
right?
see you kneading up this soil.
Yes,
really good.
just
This is a form of therapy.
Yes,
Therapy.
playing in soil. That was one of the first things that they taught you at preschool, right?
You make
Yes.
houses out of soil.
Yes.
All right. So our tray, what would we do with our
So
tray
you
now?
would just split it down the middle. Just
All right.
cut it.
And this is a regular old
Egg tray.
Egg tray.
That you would normally just throw out.
So instead of buying the
Setting tray.
the setting trays, you can use what you have in your kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, so here we are saving a couple bucks. We have our egg tray. I'll be sharing it today.
So just let me fill that over here.
And these egg trays, we've already gone ahead to poke holes into them.
Because you need,
You know,
to water.
because when you water it, you want to make sure that water is coming out and it's not sitting at the bottom of your tray,
Yeah,
right?
'cause
And
it
that
rot
will
the
cause the
roots.
roots
Root
to
rot.
rot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
All
let's
right,
continue.
so let's just fill this up right now. I guess as a nurse, I still maintain a lot of not sterile, but clean procedure.
Okay.
And that's important. I've learned that that's important in
Gardening too.
gardening as well, because you can literally introduce unnecessary bacteria into the plant. So even when you're cutting your plant and you're trimming it, you don't, cut it with dirty utensils. Make sure they're clean, even though it's dirt your food you're using,
No,
right?
that's interesting.
Never
Yeah.
thought of that.
Never thought
Yeah.
about that.
Because you're cutting a clean, healthy tree, and when you cut it with something dirty, it automatically
Oh,
introduces the
okay.
bacteria into the plant or into the body of the plant. So here I filled this one particular tray. We're going to be setting some cilantro. The Belizean kitchen never goes without cilantro.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I always need a
So-
couple pieces of that. And cilantro has many health benefits. Sis, do you mind sharing some as we set these things up today?
Well, cilantro is one of those, it's basically a spice from what I can recall. Generally, it's in the same line of thyme, and thyme does have a relaxing effect from what I can recall as well. But we generally just know it as this basic plant that gives the food a rich taste in our mouth, no? So this is another fun part as well, just digging in the soil and making sure that everything is quite even. You don't want hard build up in the soil, so you remove those.
I also want to tell our viewers, if you have children at home, this is
It's
a
a fun thing to do.
perfect thing to do. I am
them.
saying it because I've experienced it. I have 2 boys and they love to plant as well. It's a perfect little activity for you
So
to
that
have
one is yours.
your kids doing, You
So
get
fun.
all these things together and then you have them, assemble these. And let me tell you, the same vibrancy, the same kind of excitement we were feeling earlier is the same thing they will experience. To
It's a time
actually
for-
see each seed popping out, each plant popping out from a seed that they have placed in there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it lends itself to an excellent time for family bonding.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
Doing
It
something
sure
together.
does.
Yes,
It sure does.
yes,
And
yes.
what in addition to that too is that if you're teaching a child to grow from very young, it leaves a mark in their lives. So as they get older, they will not remember, they will not forget those moments, and they can always go back to those skills as they get older
Yep.
as adults.
Yep,
right?
yep. My son planted a bean, and says every day he got up and he ran out to
Teaches
see,
him
ran out to
responsibility.
see how far it is, how far. When the first it started to pop out, he got so excited. He said, come and see, come and see.
There's something to look forward to.
Yes,
right?
now to us that is like, oh, it's just a
commonplace.
I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen it over and over, but to the children, it is amazing that
miracle of life and growth.
that something came out of something that they planted. All right, sis, what would be the next step?
So now that we've had the soil here, or what I'm going to, since this is not divided and that one is, you're just going to use the pen.
Okay.
Or have a pencil.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
So just,
You got to put a hole where the seeds
yes,
should
just
go.
a little hole. Not too deep, just basically about a 1/4 inch. These are tiny seeds.
Okay.
All right. And so they don't need to be just deep in the soil, because then that will not allow for sunshine to be directly on them.
And again, today we'll be planting cilantro.
Yes.
Cilantro.
Need some cilantro in my garden.
And as you're doing that, sis, I'm noticing on the package that it gives some instructions.
Yes.
How long, more or less, would it take for it to mature?
So we should see some good growth in about 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yes. Good growth meaning about 4 inches tall. So right now we're just setting so that when we see the cilantro tree about 2 inches high, I feel safe enough to then put them in my raised beds at home.
All right. So you're telling me that this here is just the beginning.
Yes.
Part. So are you advising us not to start in a big bed already, or
you can?
The safest way is to start from.
Because you want, just like a baby, you want to be able to nurture her or him. And so this is what you tend to do. This is the safest way.
Yes.
If you have an area that you know is safe, fenced, my dog just destroyed my thyme patch. So I know that I would not have gone and directly put these baby seeds down there, right? They need to be nurtured. They need to be cared for. They need to be adequately sunlight. I pray over them when I talk to them and all kinds of things.
Another life lesson there, Mr.
Yes.
Cameron. Another life lesson there. We have so much that have been coming out this morning.
Yeah.
Another life lesson there. Christ wants for us to, he nurtures us as a baby.
Yes.
You know, if we pray and all of that, these are things that helps us to grow. Just
From
as
a seedling.
Yes, just as we do for these cilantro seeds that we're going to be putting down today. All right.
So
here
normally I would put 2 seeds in each hole.
Okay.
They're very tiny, as you can see. If you just put some on the table, I think the camera will be able to see. They're very tiny, so you just put 2 in each hole, and you would just gently cover the hole, after which we would water them.
Okay.
And then voila, we put them out in the sun and
so this plant is one that needs a lot of sunlight, because I know
direct
it varies.
sunlight.
Okay, direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about preparing a shelter, put it under in a cool space or anything like that.
I think that might be too deep though.
Okay.
All
right.
It's a 1/4 inch.
Okay. Oops. All right. This is really, really nice. Here we have therapy for the day.
And you know we eat cilantro with everything.
Oh yeah.
With beans, with rice, with soups.
Delicious in salsa.
Yes.
It's an important go-to veggie.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what do we do next?
That's it. The excess seed you just place back in the packet, and we wait and see how this will work. We just have to cover them now, just slightly. The same hand, you just gently move some soil over it.
So we cover them up.
So this part, if you're doing it with your child, they may want to get a little bit aggressive with the seeds. So maybe this is where you would want to take over back as the parent. Because you know that the seeds cannot be too deep. If they're too deep, then they would not be able to germinate, right? So that would be it for those 2
All right, so from here, what do we do?
We would water it, and we would just basically set it out in the sun.
And it's good to go.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to thank you so much for sharing with us these steps. Mr. Cameron, I know you are an avid gardener as well. Do you have any experiences that you like to share?
Well, I've been doing some soursop seeds lately and mango seeds. and so on. My wife is the master when it comes to that.
Any sprouting as yet?
Well, not as yet, but I did a batch some years ago,
Okay.
and it took a couple of weeks for the seedlings to come up.
Okay.
Yeah, but it does. You feel a sense of accomplishment when you see things popping out.
Yeah.
Really.
Talking about a sense of accomplishment, we have a huge pumpkin here. We want to bring it right to the middle of our table. I'm here imagining all the things I can make from this pumpkin. One of the main things my grandma used to do is to make stew pumpkin.
There you go.
Yes, in the summertime we'd have stew pumpkin or stew mangoes.
Yeah.
Tell us about the journey of this pumpkin from your garden. How many pounds do we have here?
I think it's 20 pounds. I'm not sure.
20 pounds.
Yeah,
all right. And this is one of the many pumpkins that you have reaped.
Big ones.
The many other things that you've reaped from your garden, right?
Yes. This is actually from the second harvest, honestly.
Okay.
The first harvest we had quite a lot. We were just sharing it around the community. The second harvest was a little smaller because I guess the tree had, done her time already. So this was my last baby.
How long was it from seedling to?
I don't recall actually the excitement of just having to see this pumpkin grow. Actually, so I really didn't monitor this time around. I'm doing more from a scientific perspective. Like today, as with everything, I would date when the seeds were set, and then I would just journal it as I go.
From there on, okay. Wow, this must have been a long-awaited, feeling to actually pluck it off its vine and to have it here now.
You don't want to pluck it because you want to see how far she could get.
Okay.
How bigger she can get.
Well, this program today was indeed a blessing. We want to thank you so much, Mrs. Isabel, for coming here again and for imparting to us wisdom. You've shared so much with us and with our viewers. Enough things that we can do to be motivated to start our home garden. Remember, viewers, you don't need to have a big plot of land. You can start using simple things that you have in your home, egg trays. You can use plastic bags, seeds from the very own plants that you buy.
There you go.
So we want to thank you as well, viewers, for staying with us to the end. And with that, we want to say, God bless. See you again.